Hello, students. This lecture is to help you better understand the reading for section 1.2, which is gender and numbers of nouns. Every noun is divided into masculine or feminine. So every noun in the Spanish language is either masculine or feminine. How to recognize them? Well, most nouns that end in the letter N, O, R, S, or PA, they are all masculine nouns. In the other hand, the feminine nouns usually have this ending listed over here, and you can see them here at the end of these examples: la cama, la felicidad, la televisión, and la canción. So the articles, what they do is they tell you exactly the gender of that noun. So every time you see the word el in front of a noun, you know automatically that that noun is masculine. So what about the endings that I mentioned here? These endings are just a rule of thumb. They are exceptions to the rules. For example, come to mind the word flor. Although it ends in the letter R, is female, la flor. However, most of the words that end in these letters are masculine, but I repeat, they are exception to the rules. The same with females. Usually all the females noun in Spanish have the letter A at the end. However, they are masculine nouns that ends in the letter A as well. Like, for example, el agua. Agua means water, and sometimes it can be masculine and sometimes it can be feminine. There are few nouns in the language, in the Spanish language, that have both. That could be both depending on the context that you're using it. Here we have the articles in Spanish. In this row we have the definite articles, and in this row we have the indefinite articles. So what's the difference between these two rows? In English, these words here will translate to the word the. As for example, if I want to say the house, house is a female noun, so I'm going to use la casa. And then in here, this in Spanish, the indefinite article will translate to English into a or an. So for example, if I wanted to say a house, I will say una casa. La casa, the house, una casa, a house. So that's the difference between these two sets of articles. Now, how do they work? Well, if I have a noun that is masculine and singular, I'm going to accompany them with the articles el or un. Then for female singular will be la and una in front of that noun. Then for the plurals that we have here, the same procedure. For masculine plural, los and unos, and for female plurals, las and unas. So here we have an examples from your book. This is on page 23. And notice that in here they're using the definite articles and indefinite articles only for singular nouns. So here we have el suéter, el sombrero, un suéter, un sombrero. So this means the sweater and the hat. And in the other hand, here we have a sweater and a hat. So for example, if I wanted to say in Spanish, I want the sweater that I saw at the store, I will say, yo quiero el suéter que vi en la tienda. But if I want to say, I want a sweater for tonight, I will be saying, yo quiero un suéter para esta noche. So that's the difference between these definite and indefinite article. Before I talk about the plural articles, I'm going to explain to you how to make a noun from singular into plural. The first thing you need to do when you're working with a noun is to look at the ending. If the ending of a noun is a vowel, simply add an S. Like for example, in here, the noun gato ends in the vowel, so just add an S to make it plural. So gato will become gatos. In this noun here, canción, I look at the ending and I see that the ending is a consonant. So if the noun ends in a consonant, you just add es to make it plural. So canción will become canciones. And then finally, if the noun ends in the letter Z, you still add es at the end, but before you do that, the C has to change into the letter C. I'm going to explain how to use plural articles and then showing you also the difference between singular and plural. These examples I took from your book and is on page 25 in your book. So here we have the singular nouns here on this side and the plural nouns in here. It's important to notice that the articles that we have in front are singular because the noun is singular. On the other hand, the articles here are plurals because the noun is plural. So what does this mean? Un muchacho, if I only had un muchacho, I will be saying a boy. If I say el muchacho, I will be saying the boy. Unos muchachos will translate to some boys, and los muchachos will translate to the boys. Students, I'm going to conclude the lecture today with showing you examples with noun adjective agreement. So let's take a look at the example. El chico alto is the noun, as you can see in here, is singular and masculine. Therefore, the adjective that is describing the noun has to also be singular and masculine. In the plural example, los chicos altos, because chicos is masculine and plural, altos is masculine and plural as well. So they are matching and agreeing in gender and number. It happens the same situation in the feminine example. Chica is the noun, so because it's female and singular, alta has to be also singular and female. Las chicas altas, the noun is plural and female, so therefore the adjective altas is female and plural. Notice in Spanish we put the noun first and then the adjective. That is the inverse or backwards in English. In English you put the adjective first, as you can see here. Well, students, I hope this lecture have helped you to understand noun and gender agreement.